maybe somebody in the middle they'll take a shot on, but bring Hurts back next year, assuming they're going to give him another year to prove he's the guy. I think we're already there, don't you?
I think we've been past there.
All right, welcome back to the show. Again, we got our legal analyst coming up at the top of the hour. And I just want to see what his give you his Instagram. He's great on Instagram. I got to tell you, like really, really good. Dan Lust is his name, obviously, and it's Sports Law Lust on Instagram. And he's all over this stuff. Like anytime there's kind of a legal issue, and there's a lot, it seems like every other week, you know, there's 2 or 3 big legal issues with regards to sports. And lately it's been the NFL. So we're going to talk about all that stuff with him coming up at noon. But I saw they do this Q&A every week with Joe Banner on Philly.com. And it's usually pretty interesting. E.J. Smith does it with him, the writer E.J. Smith, who does a good job. And he says, I remember early, and this is E.J. saying, I remember early in the season you talked about how much we'd learn about Sirianni as a coach once he was forced to handle adversity. What does the team's turnaround say about him? He says, a head coach, this is Banner now, a head coach matters the most when you're going through tough times. It's the same reason most teams put leadership at the top of their coaching list search, because that's the one that shows up. I don't think you could ask him to do any better than he did. Talking about Sirianni.
Right.
He says, okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, he's absolutely right about that. I mean, leadership, if you can get guys to follow you, man, you can coach them. You can get, basically them to run through a brick wall for you. If you get a guy that, that's not a leader, it doesn't matter how much you know or how much you can articulate to them. If they don't like you, if they don't feel motivated by you, they're not going to listen to you.
Right.
Guys just won't do it.
He says, Banner goes on to say, they, meaning coaches, can't beat anybody. They don't play. So you can't hold it against him who they beat. You can factor it into what you think they are and what the future will be. But he got everybody together. He made changes. He was open-minded, objective, and he kept the team playing hard and appearing to believe in what he was trying to do. They took advantage of the opportunity. I guess he's talking about the schedule that was presented them. And that's a big part of the definition of being a good coach. Time will tell. Is he a C+? Is he an A-? We'll see over time, certainly, though. We have to say he's off to a good start. He had a good first year, and he's shown the things we'd be hoping to see that will be significant in the long run. So I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, you mean
I think he's spot on there.
Absolutely. And John Dickerson, great point. A guy like Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to listen to Urban Meyer because, number one, he's not even trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to follow a guy like that.
Yeah.
His track record is good, but when you're coaching, it's a difference between coaching grown men and men with families.
Yeah, he always had kind of a slimy kind of appeal or lack of thereof to him.
Yes. Shady.
Yeah, shady. Very successful, but slimy. You know what I mean?
You could motivate men to work hard for you because you could just dangle the NFL in front of them when you're coaching college players. Yes, they're grown men,
right.
but
or you could recruit right over top of them. Say, you know what? Hey, you're done.
Right.
You better transfer.
And, you could tell them, all right, your pro career is in my hands right now. By the struggle of a pen or me saying yay or nay, you won't, your draft status will go up or down. You can influence guys like that. But in the NFL, half the guys you're coaching make more money than you, number one. And in a lot of cases, if you're that slimy, they just won't believe in you at all. And all you need is just, to start that trend, and you'll lose the team, man. Once you lose the team, you can't get them back. You just can't get them back. Urban Meyer, he lost that team, after that first instance when he stayed back with the and let the team go back without him.
Yeah, I think that's
You
where
just,
it really started.
you just
Yeah,
can't do that.
yeah,
That's something guys aren't having that. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be our leader, and
yeah.
you leaving us out to dry. You going somewhere you ain't supposed to be, number one, instead of being with us. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's one
Come
of the
on.
really things that was glaring about it is that the most important thing for Jacksonville was to get that quarterback started on the right foot. And he never progressed. Like he was not good, and he never got any better this year. Like it's kind of been a
Exactly.
wasted year for Lawrence, if you
Well,
think about it. He's just
exactly.
lucky he didn't get hurt.
And you're so right about that, man. You're so
Like
right about this is a wasted year that
it's a
you have a
wasted year.
quarterback that is supposed to be the second coming of Brady.
Mhm.
This guy's supposed to be next level. He's been groomed to be this player since he was playing flag football.
Right, right.
I saw him in the Nike camps and all those. I've been watching his development as a quarterback and grow for years. I mean, years before he even went to Clemson. He was in California playing in these 7-on-7 leagues, and you know what I'm saying. He's been out and out the best quarterback since he was probably 10 years old, man. 10, 11 years old. He's gone to every camp. He's busted everybody as far as who's in the same ballpark with him during that same time.
Right.
I mean, he's killed everybody. I remember it was between him and the Bears quarterback. What's his name? The Bears quarterback.
Fields.
Fields. Yeah, him and
Yeah, yeah.
Fields. Him and Fields have been competing against each other in
Mhm.
these camps since they were like 10, 11 years old, and the
Right.
7-on-7s, flag football, all that stuff. Those two have been competing against each other. And I tell you what, more times than not, Fields would edge him out. But then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, he just, he grew a couple more inches, and he was just all world after that. So he's been
Right.
groomed since a young kid to be that type of quarterback. And that's a totally wasted year this year that in his development of being that type of quarterback, man.
Now, did he always have that great hair? Even when he was,
Yes.
like, in junior high school and
Yes.
stuff? Oh, yeah?
Yes. Yes. I mean, we
Alright.
should call him Samson because it's always been like that,
Is that
bro.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, they go on to talk, Joe Banner about, Jalen Hurts, and, EJ Smith says, uh, "You've mentioned that the Eagles don't have the constantly churning discussions about Hurts that the public has. Do you think this is the point in the season where they would be having larger discussions about him?" And he says it's a conversation that is ongoing and then reaches a point where it becomes a focal point. Whether they're doing that now or trying to enjoy the moment and best prepare themselves for a chance, if there is one, to advance in the playoffs, your guess is as good as mine. But we're in that window. It kind of opens now and probably runs until soon after they're eliminated. He's talking about that window of, I guess, considering whether Hurts is the guy to go forward.
Right. Right.
He says, remember, there are no options that they don't have to make that decision. Let's just say that they don't think there's a quarterback that they're prepared to use a high pick in the draft. Maybe somebody in the middle they'll take a shot on, but bring Hurts back next year, assuming they're going to give him another year to prove he's the guy. I think we're already there, don't you?
I think we've been past there. Once we really start being in the quarterback of the playoff picture, once we develop the offense, not necessarily for his skill set, but for the team in its entirety, made them a better team because they started catering to, what this offense really is. That's when the situation really highlighted how good Hurts could be because he wasn't asked to go out there and throw 40 times a game.
Right.
It almost hindered his growth early in the season because they were trying to make him a passer. You don't have to make him a passer. He's a quarterback. You don't have to make him a passer. What you do is have to put him in a better position that if he does become a passer, help him out. You know what I'm saying? You can't drop back and pass with that offensive line 40 times a game and think you're going to have some success. They're
Right.
good. They're good, but they're not great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He
There's
says,
not a lot of great offenses that have quarterbacks that throw 50 times a game that are successful.
right.
There's not a lot of them.
Yeah, even a lot of times, when you see good quarterbacks have to do that, they lose the game.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
we weren't putting him in a good position. You couldn't ask Brady to drop back 40, 50 times a game
But that
and
was
think
your
that he was
boy, the
gonna
coach of the year, though, that did that to him in those first 7 weeks.
ah da
Yeah,
da
ah, da, da.
ah da
Yeah.
da ah da
All
da.
right,
But
he
when you're
goes,
listening, you listen to ownership though, man. That's different. Ownership and the
okay.
GM.
All right, he says, Banner says, they see the good things are exciting, talking about Hurts. They see how the team has turned around and responded. They also know he hasn't really had to play against a top press defense. He hasn't completed a lot of tight throws. I'm not saying he hasn't completed any, but he hasn't played against enough variety of defenses that could be challenging depending on what you think his strengths and weaknesses are.
Hmm.
He doesn't have a final grade on him. He says it's incomplete.
I don't know about that, man. I mean, because you look at the defenses he's played against. He played against Tampa's defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's played against the 49er defense. Even like the 49er defense, man, they are one of the most confusing defenses to play against because you really can't see what type of defense they're in. They play a matchup zone and man concepts a lot. And it's hard to really differentiate where the ball is going, where it's supposed to go, because it almost looks like man, but it's zone. But then sometimes it looks like zone, but it's actually man.
Hmm.
Because I tell you what, D'Amico Ryans, he's pretty damn good. He's a
Yeah.
really, really good defensive coordinator because you can't even tell if it's cover 3 or cover 2 half the time because they might buzz a linebacker back and it'll be cover 2, not Tampa 2, but cover 2, because he'll take one of the linebackers will take the place, and that linebacker's that good. He could take the place of a safety, and they can roll a safety up and have him play him linebacker.
Hmm.
He really is great at not defining what the defense is running and putting those guys in great position to be aggressive while they're doing it.
I guess
Not a lot of people can do that.
I guess he's saying he hasn't played against great defenses and really played well because he didn't play well against Tampa. There was garbage stuff at the end of the game that made that game a lot closer than what it was.
But
And
he did against the 49ers though. He played well against the 49ers. They should have
yeah,
won that game.
yeah, he did. He did.
I mean, look at conceptually, look at it. They had two, no, was it three? It was 2 or 3 touchdowns called back over stupid
Yeah,
penalties.
it was at least 2. It might have been
Yep.
3. Yeah.
Pick routes and
Or they
when
stepped out of bounds, like,
exactly.
the wide receivers that step out of bounds. Now, Owen Buck needs to explain this, okay, because I'm interested in this. He says, I'm listening behind. In other words, he's behind in the show. But he goes, I hope it's explained that hash is not resin. Ha, 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 ha.
Oh, you
So,
got to
all right,
explain it to him.
explain it, okay? Put it up there. I never
We don't.
claimed to be an expert. I tried it once.
He said he tried it once.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
What
now, go ahead.
I used to get, man. I was not to say that I was the golden child or anything like that, but I had uncles and aunts that really paid attention to everything that I did. Like I couldn't do all the things the other kids could do. I don't know why. It might have been because everybody was scared of my mom,
Mm-hmm.
or they saw bigger things in me that they didn't see in sometimes their own kids.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't allow me to get in and go out and play reindeer games like other kids. Like if somebody would caught a joint in my mouth, oh my God. They go tell my mom,
Was that right?
they'd whoop my ass all the way home, and then they tell my mom, and then my mom would whoop my ass.
You had a
It was
lot of people ratting on you, man.
all
You know
the
what I mean?
time,
Like,
all the time.
Jesus.
And like I said, I don't know if it was that they were scared of my mom, or I don't know what it was, but they knew number one, I was a mama's boy. Then number
Mhm.
two, they understood that if she found out and nobody told her and she found out the wrong way, then everybody would have to pay the penalties. You know what I mean? Like my
Right.
mom didn't play, man. Like my mom used to carry a gun, man. So she seems like this nice lady on the stream, hey, how you doing, Joey B? And what's up, Boom Bap
Right.
75, Shizzo, she's hey, she's nice, but she used to carry a gun. She used to call it a snake charmer.
Right, right. I remember you said that before.
Yeah,
I like
so
that.
she
Yeah.
wasn't, she's trying to get to
So,
heaven now. Put it
yeah.
like that, bro.
Yeah, 91 LSXers remembered Snake Charmer. He's got it up
Right.
there. All right, now Code Bodenstein says hash is a byproduct of the actual plant and is more potent than smoking the buds.
What?
There you go.
See, that's next level
Code
stuff
knows
here.
what, or Cade. Is it Cade Bodenstein? I think it's Cade. Yeah.
That's
Mama
next
was
level.
an OG, says Shizzo Flex.
Yes. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. She didn't play, man. But I had a lot of fun growing up, and I wasn't really a big troublemaker, but I got in trouble. But I wasn't just out and out defiant. Like if my mom said don't do it, I wouldn't do it. But I'd find other stuff to do to get
Right.
in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But man, I enjoyed it. And I think that's kind of the way we were talking about when we were talking about Jacksonville's quarterback. That's kind of the way he was brought up. He had to be at every camp. He had to see. Everybody saw him growing up. Everybody saw him in his maturation of being a quarterback. So the expectations of him and this lost year, oh man, it's huge. It's huge, because he definitely lost a lot this year.
Did you know that the Stop or My Mom Will Shoot movie was actually based on your mom?
What is that? I didn't know there was a movie called that.
Yeah, Stallone movie.
No, never heard of it, man.
Yeah, it's 91 LSXers again. All right, now Colin Berger's got some info here. He's usually got good info.
Oh, yeah.
Hash is the keef, the pure THC crystals that make the weed look shiny and hairy. Those crystals fall off when the weed is ground, and then it's compressed into pucks. Oh, Martitas would like this stuff. Put it in pucks.
How was you in the Mountain Trolls show?
Oh, man? It was great. Yeah, it was great.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Tony didn't shut up. He was nonstop for 40 minutes. Like you couldn't even get a word in.
Oh, he took the show over.
Nonstop. Absolutely out of control. But now here, Jalen Raygor. All right. This is a quote. Jeff McClain's Twitter. There's actually a piece about it in Philly.com too, but this is the gist. Talking about booing at the link. He says, quote, "It was funny, honestly. Derek Barnett told me just embrace that type of stuff. Because, it shows that the fans are paying attention. That's like saying once a coach stops yelling at you and stops coaching you, then you should be worried." End quote.
Makes a lot of sense.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Derek Barnett, the philosopher.
Right. And looking at it, if we didn't care, we wouldn't say anything. Because we've invested a first round pick in you, our expectations are such. You're supposed to go out there and play like a first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of you weren't supposed to be picked there or not. You still have to go out there at least produce a little bit. He's not producing right now.
Right.
But at least he understands that, hey, he's got to get it together. Some guys go in their shell. A couple guys went in their shell and couldn't get past that. I've seen a lot of first rounders go through that. They were mentally tough enough to really do it, or they had problems outside of football or things that would hinder them from taking that next step. But that's tough, man. Just being in the NFL is tough, but being a first rounder, that's got to be extra tough, man. I was
being a first rounder in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Like I was pissed off. I was pissed off that I went in the second round. I was ranked the number 3 offensive lineman in the nation the year I came out. I really thought I was going to the first round. In fact, I got 2 or 3 calls, saying we're going to pick you up. The last one being Kansas City, where they were going to draft me, and instead they drafted Trezell Jenkins in the first round, who never played, only played in the league 3 years, never even played, never even got an opportunity to really play.
Another offensive lineman? Was that a lineman? Okay. Yeah, I never heard of him.
Yeah, he's from Michigan also.
Oh, really?
Junior from Michigan, yeah. But the expectations, I can only imagine being a first rounder in Philadelphia. Because I remember, second round, if I played well, it was a bonus. If I didn't, oh, well, you weren't a first rounder. But I saw the way Jermaine Mayberry had to go through what he went through. I saw, even, Mike Mamula, our first round of the year I was drafted.
Yeah.
The expectations that were on him.
So like was he the Bobby first Taylor, rounder and you were the second rounder in that draft?
Me and Bobby Taylor.
Oh.
In fact, me and Bobby Taylor used to talk about that all the time. And then the third, I think Chris T. Jones was third round.
Okay.
But we sat back and we was like, hey, man, imagine if we'd have won the first round. Even though we're both starting, we're playing pretty good.
Right.
There's nothing that Mamula could do to get past him not playing up to the expectations that Warren Sapp was, because Warren Sapp got picked right after he was picked.
Yeah.
So he was always playing.
Well, there was marijuana was the whole thing with Warren Sapp, wasn't it?
It was the whole thing with our entire draft.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I dropped down in the draft. There were like 16 players that tested positive for marijuana. I can remember, dog, we were in Indianapolis. And you walking by the rooms and you could smell it inside the
at the combine.
The hotel at the combine. Yes. Yeah. You could smell it inside the rooms.
Wow.
Like, it was crazy. Everybody was like, they just didn't care.
I bet they had hash in there too. Guaranteed. Angry Al Bundy. Look at this. Look at this post. American hash, aka moon rocks / caviar buds, rolled in LLR oil, rolled in keef and dried. That sounds like a recipe.
Right. You cooking up the hash?
Jesus. Angry Al coming strong.
I see.
Well, those Cowboys look a whole lot better when you're smoking that stuff, huh?
And like I said, I still think that the Eagles going to win this weekend.
Yeah, and you'll be on record as saying regardless of who plays, right?
I said that.
Wow.
I said
that's a big one. That's big.
I said that. And I've been saying it for the past 8 weeks now.
I know.
Not 7, but 8 weeks now.
But you weren't saying that thinking that they were going to have, second stringers playing. Now there probably are, and you're still saying it.
I'm saying it simply because I don't think that Dallas is going to go out and have guys play, especially what happened to their starting wide receiver, Michael Gallup, and the fact that he's out for the rest of the season.
It's a big loss.
They don't want because this is their year. If they're going to win a Super Bowl, they got to win it this year. They just paid their quarterback. And after you pay your quarterback, it's slim pickings for going out and really winning the championship after that. The reason why Brady was so successful, because he took pay cuts.
Right.
To pay other players.
And a wife making bazillions of dollars.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got a wife making $80 million a year. Yeah. You could do that. You could afford to do that.
I've been taking pay cuts too, Barrett.
Appreciate you keeping me around. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, we're going to take a time out because on the other side, we're going to have Dan Lust, and he's ready to go already. He's chomping at the bit to give us all the info on all this legal stuff that's going on with the NFL and professional sports. We're back after.